Welcome, James Sutherland, Chief Executive Cricket Australia, and thank you for your time to answer questions from the public this time. Our first question is from Hardson Mashuri, who asks, will Ricky Ponting play a critical role in the upcoming series against South Africa?
Well, I'm sure Ricky will play an important role in the series. He's certainly in the one-day team as we speak now. The Test team hasn't been announced yet, but one would expect he'd be an important part of that team, and one would expect him to follow on some of the good and promising form that he showed in Sri Lanka.
A question now about country cricket. Richard Souter asks, what is Cricket Australia doing to help grassroots country cricket associations?
There's lots that Cricket Australia is doing, and I think it's important to understand that what we do is in conjunction with state and territory cricket associations who have a role to play, I guess, really much more closely at the grassroots level. We're all very conscious of the fact that something like 46% of total participants in the game are playing in country or regional areas. So there's no doubt there's a very strong understanding of the role that country cricket continues to play in not only generating interest in the game, but also the talent that comes through at national level. We support, in that talent system, we support the Australian Country Championships, effectively sponsoring those. They're played on an annual basis, usually around January every year. And then on top of that, through various programs at state level, Cricket Australia is closely involved in those. And one that's probably worthy of mention there is the club insurance scheme that we operate in conjunction with state associations. The latest estimates are that saves cricket clubs around the country just over $4 million per annum on a collective basis by being able to pool all of our collective, I guess our insurance resources and develop a really significant saving for clubs all around the country.
James, a question from Leighton White. Is Cricket Australia still looking at test matches at night under lights?
It's something that is definitely work in progress. It's not off the radar from a Cricket Australia perspective. We continue to be very keen on pursuing the solutions that can see Test cricket played at night. If you take that upper level, what we're really talking about there is the opportunity to play cricket at a time where more people can view the game. It follows that if a Test match is played over 5 days, that 3 of those days are weekdays, and it's not always, those matches aren't always played at a time where people are on holidays. People are at work or at school or whatever. And if there are matches that can be played more into the evening, then it will create more opportunities for people not only to attend Test matches, but also to watch those matches on TV. We continue to be very keen on the idea, but there are some logistics around the ball that need to be solved, so that the game, the integrity of the game is in no way compromised.
James, a question from Pat Murray. 2013 will be the centenary of the establishment of Canberra as Australia's federal capital. Has Cricket Australia been approached to stage a full test match at Manuka Oval during those celebrations?
We're very aware of 2013 being the centenary of the ACT. We've had discussions with ACT Cricket and also the ACT government about their plans in terms of celebrating that centenary and the way in which cricket can be involved in that. Ideally, some sort of international cricket match would be played. I think it's fair to say that we've ruled out the possibility of a test match being played in 2013 in Canberra, but exploring, I guess optimistically exploring the possibility of an international match, a one-day international or a 2020 being played in Canberra. There are a lot of factors that need to be considered in that. Obviously the program is a real challenge, the international program. When the Australian players are available to play in such a match, and whether we can get an overseas team out here. There's significant costs related to that, as there are significant costs related to holding matches at Manuka Oval in Canberra. But all things considered, in a general sense, what I would say is that we are hopeful that we'll be able to play some sort of international cricket match in Canberra as part of the 2013 centenary celebrations.
Dan McGrath asks, do you see the performance of the Test team remaining as the most important goal of Cricket Australia, or do you believe the lucrative and marketable 2020 format is beginning to take precedence a secondary question, is KFC Big Bash League's expansion a threat to the Sheffield Shield?
Our objectives around the success of the Australian cricket team or teams is very important. We want Australian cricket teams to win whatever competitions they're playing, whether they're the men's team or the women's team. We're very focused on ensuring that we're developing the best talent and the best teams to win the competitions that they play in. Cricket's in a really fortunate position of having interest in all three formats of the game: Test cricket, one-day cricket and 2020 cricket. And that's a good place to be, and we'll continue. Whilst I understand from time to time people will take a view that one form of the other is particularly important or more important than the other, and certainly Test cricket is, I guess, historically the game that has always been played. It is the traditional game of international cricket, and it is perhaps cricket played in its purest form. We will continue to play and be focused on performance of Australian teams in one-day international cricket and Test cricket, and hopefully our performances will show from that. On the Big Bash League, that's something that we're really excited about launching this year. And again, it comes back to another opportunity for cricket to grow its support base and grow fans, bring new people to the game. We're really excited about the nature of the competition, which sees city-based teams coming together, and on top of that, in the two biggest cities in the country, two teams in each one of those, coming together in a competition that is all new and will be promoted in a different way to what we've seen before. The interest in that competition is already very, very high, and I've got no doubt about the success of that and its ability to generate public interest in what should be a really exciting competition.
James, a question from Matthew Rickard. Why do we still have the historic state-based Cricket Australia board set up? Would an independent board such as the AFL's board operate better? The
core of that question is really about why is it that we have the governance structure that we do. Well, it is historic, and the facts are that the structure that we have has served Australian cricket very well over a period of time. There have, during the last 100 or so years, been various iterations of that board in terms of name and structure and role of Cricket Australia and its predecessor organisations. And Cricket Australia and Australian cricket has progressively reviewed the role, I guess, of the board and the structure and the governance of Australian cricket. Now, as it so happens right now, there is a review of the governance of Australian cricket on right now. But I think it's also, within all of that, it's really important to understand that that's not a review by Cricket Australia of its governance. Ultimately, the owners of Cricket Australia are the 6 state associations. They're, if you like, the shareholders of Cricket Australia. And for any constitutional change or major change to the governance and the way in which Cricket Australia is structured, nothing can happen without the state associations, the members, choosing to vote in favour, and that is with a special majority, a 75% majority change. So ultimately the question is not whether there is any change and what might come out of this review. I think it's important to remind people that any outcomes or any change will only happen as a result of the members, the 6 state associations, deciding that it is right and proper and in the best interest of Australian cricket for such change to take place.
James Sutherland, thank you for answering questions put to you by the public about Australian cricket as we go into this new summer.
Thanks, Peter.